Oh, I'm a three-week hero. I started out with zero and I sold 1 million records on my own.
Tight trousers?
3 short weeks ago, I was the lowest of the low.
Sorry, who?
You nothing now, there's nothing I don't know.
Do you know who PJ Proby is?
I certainly do.
Well, can you tell me what you remember about him?
I remember him for his very tight trousers. The most popular song was, well, he did the one from West Side Story, which was Maria. He had long hair in a plait with a ribbon, tied with a ribbon. He was one of these people that everybody thought he wouldn't last very long. Maybe that's true, I don't know, but you don't see him these days.
Well, yes, I do remember him, but only for one thing, and that's because he split his trousers on the stage.
Felt that however outrageous they were behaving, it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, and that, you know, he was setting himself up all the time, and that the whole this sort of image building, and oh dear, I split my pants and therefore I've been banned. I mean, he knew exactly what he was doing, I'm sure. And then he had this extraordinary sort of personal life with extremely young ladies, which always seemed to get him into trouble. And of course he went through all this money, as they all did, and he was very much, I suppose, one of those people of the 60s who just spent ridiculous amounts of money, and I think it's something I wrote. I'm quoting him saying he spent £5,000 a month in the then hip club, the Ad Lib. And I mean, in those days, to spend £5,000 a month was an enormous amount of money. But it was like part of his lifestyle, because he was, you know, had to live that way. And it was like a very all or nothing. So one minute he's really rich, and the next minute he's no money at all.
But he had no respect for anyone whatsoever, man, woman, or child. No girl, under the age, no, I would say no girl of any age was safe with him, and certainly he'd run through your booze faster than anybody I ever knew. An evening out with Jim Proby was an experience you weren't likely to forget. You'd run into problems, you know, from the moment you started. You'd probably cover about 14 or 15 bars, clubs and bordellos, if necessary, during an evening. And if there was a fight in the offing, he was always raring to go.
And when the Beatles arrived, the Beatles took over the world almost immediately. And anybody that was attached to the Beatles in any way was a star. And of course, that's how PJ Proby arrived. He was on a TV show with the Beatles, and as a result, everybody knew about him immediately.
PJ Proby's record sales were excellent during the period of 1964 to 66, having had 10 top 30 hits in that period. He had an enlarged ego, but gained respectability in the 60s through his rebel image. This was created with other groups such as The Move, The Who and the Rolling Stones. Today's collectors can pay high prices for certain records of PJ Proby's. The most expensive record being the 3-week Hero LP, which can fetch anything up to between £40 and £50.
I have a feeling he's living somewhere very remote and bizarre in England. I'm sure I read a magazine article on it.
Booze, man, not goddamn tonic water. I want it now. Not waiting another hour for that drink. That should have been here 2 hours ago. Jesus wept.
Now come up and take your punishment, James. Now, what have you got that horn in your hand for? I said it's to play. If I'm going to have to get up, I'm going to do something. Oh, so you're now going to tell them that horn is real? Yes, it is. Okay, you come up now in front of the class and play your real horn. And said, what are you going to play first? I said, I'm looking over a 4-leaf clover. All right, play it. Of course, I'd practice at home. And all you do, it's a kazoo, actually, and you put it in your mouth and go. There's a man in the funny paper we all know. Alley-oop, boop, 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 boop. It goes through the jungle like a yes-mo. Alley-oop, boop, 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 boop. That was my claim to fame on the alley-oop record. So I went out and I got a job. They signed me to a contract, me and Burt Reynolds and Clint Eastwood. But they didn't work, any of us. We picked up $150 a week for doing nothing, except maybe being what we call statues, or getting shot in the first 2 seconds. And they said Burt was too into Marlon Brando. Clint was too ugly and skinny, and they just said I couldn't act. So I went down. They dropped us all 3 on the same day.
I first saw him when Jack Good brought him over to England to appear on Oh Boy, which was his rock and roll series.
Well, I was the first one to come over here with nothing to lose.
And I thought, my goodness me, this is a kind of clone for Elvis. I was quite impressed by him.
Well, as I said, the first time anybody in Britain ever heard about P.J. Proby was because of this Beatles thing. And immediately afterwards, he had a recording deal, and he had a hit record with Hold Me. I think he could have gone on being a star for a long time, except that he really misinterpreted the way that fame was suddenly thrust upon him. He was an overnight star, and then he went on a tour, and as everybody probably remembers, probably inadvertently, his trousers split on stage one night. Huge headlines the next day. Pop star splits trousers on stage. So he did it again and again. And at that point, people got fed up with it. They thought, well, who have we come to see? Have we come to see these people singing, performing these songs, or is it just to see some American splitting his trousers? And that was probably his great downfall, because he was a good singer.
It was sometime after he blew it in the West End production of Elvis. The only way I noticed that Jim had disappeared from the scene was that there weren't any more scurrilous or scandalous stories in the press, and his picture wasn't everywhere. And so I just imagined that he'd gone peaceably to rest somewhere.
There ain't no such thing as rape. When you're wearing a Superman cape.
There ain't no such thing as rape. When you're wearing a Superman.
There is no such thing as love. It's called L-U-S-T, love. Hi, yo, fucking silver.
Hi, yo, fucking silver.
'Cause I am the man with the 12-gauge gun. I am the only straight person left on earth.
I am the man.
I am the only male chauvinist proud pig. Lord, I am PJ. I am sex itself.
I am P.J. Proby.
Lord, I am PJ. And Eddie, who was my best friend. I mean, Ricky Nelson's gone now. These are the people I kind of talk to.
Splitting my pants, you gotta be joking. Half of everybody that goes on stage nowadays, if they don't go on nude, they don't even get paid. To conquer the world, you must have a sexual image. So I played it for what it was worth. And then I got in trouble. But then again, trouble is not only another story, it's my life story.